So we're going to talk about the emotions and truth of the black community. And we're going to compare a few examples, both fictional and real life people oriented. Well, those are the examples I would use, is both fictional characters and real life people. And instead of even what I would even throw out for like a very brief time with anime and manga's Japanese culture, and even again, other races. But for the record, we'll just work with blacks, whites, and the Japanese, and yeah, and including the white people, Caucasians. Yep, going there, and the deeper weird ways of explaining that I will do as a philosopher, and particularly an abstract philosopher, in that matter. And yeah, we have the Sirius Z model ready for this, and I do it for my own spontaneous reasons. But yeah, I see that racism, to an extent, has its own truth. It's like when you think about anyone who has ever discriminated things like, oh, black people don't get sunburned, or British people make their houses in Minecraft. Maybe that can be like obviously silly or even pointless, but could it all be pointless? Like you see me make the video about like, can drama be pointless if there's narrative drama, right? So I think these things through, even if they're not making sense anyways, or even making them reasonable to justify or anything like that. But I think racism, to an extent, is not only discrimination wise. It's like there are truths to why people are even different, the so-called races. It's like I believe that black people are a harbor and a master of emotions and truth. And the reason I say this is because for the longest time, black people, not just culturally or historically, but even sentimentally on a personalized spiritual level, they seem to understand life in a way that not even white people can. And it's not to disingenuize or even be facetious or foolish about how I describe this. It's like, it's just a different level of speech and mode. It's like, it doesn't have to only be like that, but that's how I see it. It's like, I say this as a half Asian, half white person, and it's not like I don't know any better myself, but it's just, that's how I see it though. It's just, black people are dazzling masters, not only good, not only omniscient, but they're dazzling masters of emotions and truth. And I could say historically, or personally, personality-wise, or even just any other depiction of it's a racist way to describe that, or you don't know what you're talking about. No, it's like, this is just philosophy at this point. But it's still good philosophy, right? So, healthy to think these things through. But I use the weird example of having Toon Link in his pajamas as an avatar on Discord. And it's like, who else would have that than none other than a black person? And it's like, it's not to disingenuize that. It's not to be weird or mean or bullying. It's like, I'm trying to describe my interpretation of truth and emotion, let alone races. It's like a different way that. But anyways, when you have a black person with that as their avatar on Discord, the Toon Link one from The Legend of Zelda, what is the first thing that goes to your mind? Oh, this is just a coincidence. They were just chilling. They just picked a random picture on their porn folder, and they were just going on their day. Maybe so. But I think, and I'll overthink this to the grave, I think that this is an example of emotions and truth from the black community. It's like, there are plenty of white people who will never think like that for the rest of their lives, who will never ever give that chance of the new idea and the sentiment of why those new ideas and true curiosities would ever have mattered. Because I dealt with this with my own family before, with my own brothers, actually, in fact. My 3 brothers, in fact. I won't get too personal than that, but my 3 brothers, where they would never give a new idea the light of day, and that's to put it bluntly. They will never get a new idea the light of day, and they will never have to worry about giving a danger or chaos or a otherwise bad faith sentiment in their own image birthing, because the way that they see the world is to only allow things to be simple and perhaps maybe to overkill status quo as white Asian men. And it's like, to me, that is messed up that they think like that. I know I could be full of crap, and I know I could be giving them a hard time, my family particularly, not just my siblings, but that's how I see them. That is how I always see them. That's why I would run to other people, other like white people of men and women factors that I would even see as being worth my time. And that's not even the way I see it, using time management, by the way. That's the philosophy of that. I hardly ever had that problem with black people. all things considered, I hardly have that problem with black people. I've noticed this for like my whole life. I rarely have that problem with black people questioning whether they're going to be philosophically something I believe in, or if they're going to ever be someone worth my time. Neither of the things. Like, you could say all you want about them being neglectful or foolish or even downright down bad, okay? But the hardest thing I have to admit to myself is that black people are indeed harbors and freights of emotions and truth. And there's literally a video on YouTube of this black girl who described YouTube in the best possible words I could ever think of. They explained that YouTube was one of the very first platforms that introduced colored film. And I never would have thought of that. Because, like, lo and behold, emotions and truth. They explained how, while colored and Technicolor has existed for the time immemorial, since the Wizard of Oz and the days of King Kong and all that, YouTube introduces a platform that you can deal with these things in a way that does not have to be rendered to redundant video, like you see on VHS tapes and CDs and Blu-ray and all that. It's like, there is a reason why the internet survives and the television film industry suffers. But that's not to say that, I'll cover a slide, that's not to say that all technology as a whole is only objective. It's like, there's a whole gambit of camera where it goes with that. Like, I still see flaws in internet that television film has rendered hidden truths to, even if TV and film will die anyways. But it's like, but if there are even flaws in the internet that aren't people being genuine about that. There are very weird weaknesses that the internet has that people aren't honest about. And lo and behold, truth and emotion. But, let alone black people. But I never had that problem with black people. Ever, 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 ever. They're gonna be honest with me, even if they don't realize it. Even if they don't realize that they're doing that, and they're going to not devoid their so-called desensitization. Like the days are done when you even literally see a black person who doesn't know how to feel their feelings and tell the truth. Like, they'll do it automatically. I'm not even being racist when I say that. It's like, that's how I depict that with Flossie, but it's just according to my Flossie. Let alone Learn Julie, if you know her, the Asian YouTuber, but the one that's blowing up lately. But I've known some very clever and sweet-hearted black people, and that's not okay. Obviously, that's not all of them. No shit, but it's like, you can say that about white people in the same way, but there are even depictable differences in white people particularly that isn't racist. Like, with white people, you have to really think this through and not assume that's just racism. White people have a genuine grasp of loyalty and standards. So I think white people are the chagrin of loyalty and standards, while black people are emotions of truth. And I could be saying this on my own butt, but here's the thing. There's a chaste edition, and hear me, I might as well make this a title. There's a chaste edition within Caucasians, where they are seen as a stereotype because they're not necessarily the main race or some shit, but it's like, white people genuinely think that they're respectful and too real and too down to earth when they couldn't be any farther from history. It's like, they hide the most, even compared to the Asians. Like, they compare to Asians and even the Hispanics in the Middle East. White people hide the most, psychologically speaking. I am not even trying to be racist when I say that. It's like, they are the biggest cowards. I will die on that hill. White people, Caucasians, they don't even mean to be neglectful in their own way. They don't mean to be devoid of their own truths and emotional capacity and context, let alone the creative arts and animations, I guess you could say. I'm not VTuber anime avatar for what matter. But they hide the most. They're the most escapist. They have these weird addictions for, like, alcohol abuse, drug abuse. And could be literally anyone. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm a philosopher, so bear with me. These weird addictions to things that they wouldn't have to deal with as a form of escapism indeed, and other things that they deal with in their too real reality. And it's like, do you ever have that problem as a black person, honestly? Do you ever have that problem where you have to question if you're being honest with yourself on the shadow end of things? Carl Jung, maybe? Because Carl was white, but but it's like, he's dead, but yeah. But And now people think I'm crazy anyways, but it's like, white people are escapists, full stop. It sucks. It's like the number one thing you do as any non-judgmental person would depict without being racist is like, do you know if you're telling yourself the truth? You tell that to half the white race, and they'll be like, that's not even possible to do. That's how blind they are. That is how blind they are. They actually will be like, but that's not even possible. You can't lie to yourself. That's disingenuous behavior. If not manipulative, narcissistic. I hate to throw a word around a lot. If you tell that to half the black race, they'll not only know you're telling them the truth and that you're literally factual about it, they'll be punctual about how they're doing it and be hard on themselves for the right reason. They'll immediately turn around and be like, oh shit, that was me and it still is me. Holy fuck. And why would it be any different? After what they've been through culturally and historically, and what they had to do with in their own lives and their own behaviors and systems and psychology. It's like, it's no different than any other person, even the Asians and Middle Easterns and Hispanics. Like, that's not being racist. That's me being deep and philosophical for a reason I think you understand right now. In conclusion, black people are harbors of emotions and truth. The whites and Caucasians are the freights of loyalty and standards. And by comparison, if I keep saying King Kong and Wizard of Oz in the same sentence, and Godzilla for some irony, and even freaking mentioning JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for some reason, just to make examples of Asian culture, Hispanic culture, other races, the Middle East, freaking whites and blacks, and I keep saying it like that in 10 for some reason. Why I would ever have to. I didn't even say enough about the Middle East and the Hispanics, but I don't have to. This is about the whites and the blacks so far, with a little bit of Japanese culture. But if you have Toon Link in his pajamas as an avatar on Discord, it does not mean you're black. If you have been through a bunch of sexual abuse in your childhood, and you may have not known how to tell the truth, that doesn't mean you're literally white. But what I'm saying is, these girls and boys of any races, any races, there are depictable differences, whether it's racist and discriminative or not. And this is what needs to come across the best, is that there are truths and new experiences and new ideas that deserve to exist, no matter what they cause or do not cause. Okay? I don't just say this because I run a fake business model, My Wire LLC, and I don't just say this because I'm a cartoonist or a claymation animator, okay? I say this with all sincerity as Tony Cashman, the half Asian, half white guy, 27-year-old, you name it. This is how I see it. These are the truths that I believe in, the emotional context that I work with, and the standards and principles that I go forward with in my own life, whether I am racist or not. And if anything else does not have to fail, when you raise your kids, don't so much concern yourself with racism. Think about when you're raising your kids and your children, think about the ways you could be honest with yourself, even if it hurts, even if it's something that you don't see coming, in a way that you couldn't possibly deal with, even when you meant with good faith anyways. Because everyone, this can suck with you. Anyone, any age, any race, but any gender. But it's like, well, I mean, whatever is depictable with that. But it's with the culture of 2024 can be different. But even then, the future of 2024 is different. So, but yeah, I am proud of the black community. I am proud of them for pushing their own standards in spite of what doesn't have to be racist. But I'm not trying to crap on the white race. I'm just saying, like, in fact, even the white race has its own reckonability that isn't racist either. But it's like, and all the other cultures is why I mentioned this video. But that's what I get with this. It's like, that's what makes me proud to be white and Asian without necessarily having some standard for authority or for normalization or whatever the hell else could be racist about that. But that being said, I am proud of the black community for what they have done and not done. Resistance included, like endurance and capacity for power, for other good things. So their own, what I've been calling emotions of truth, in the spite of the stead of loyalty and standards from the whites. It's like, if I really was crazy to describe it like that, then so have it. But that is my hot take on why the black community is favorable and the white community is just there, but still its own force to be reckoned with. Thank you for your time, guys. I will hopefully be here for the streams I'm planning on in the future, and this current week and so afterwards. It's just I didn't know how to go for it right away because I had a little bit on my plate, but yeah, end card content. Yeah, actually, there won't be an end card even if I have a choice, but it's like but I might still play for some reason while I complaining about it too much. But yeah, take care, guys. This has been an awkward video for some people maybe, but if you knew me for the last 5+ years, you know I make videos like this. You really do. Okay, bye guys. Take care, and I'll use the Z model in the future as well. Take care, bye.